Are you tired of shaky glass? Every trophy hunt starts with a silhouette. Way out on the ridge, this isn't guesswork, it's glasswork. With the Sig Zulu 6 Binos, every shake is gone, every detail is sharp, stabilized, locked in, game on. Whitetail in the hardwoods, elk in the basin, mule deer ghosting the skyline. You don't chase what you can't find. So glass smart, hunt hard, let's get eyes on a giant. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Deerscape. We're out here hanging the last of the trail cameras, getting a couple moved around, and starting to get an inventory on our velvet bucks and kind of trying to lock down where we want to hunt. And just thought I'd go over a few tips with you guys, and one really important, piece of equipment that I would recommend for anybody for summer scouting any type of western big game or any scouting at all. First and foremost, I will say tip number one should be get a good online e-scouting platform. I use several. I like Go Hunt, especially for like planning my western hunts and seeing draw statistics. I like Onyx. Really like to see those boundary lines, get some tax ID addresses to try to get some permission ground. And I like Hunt Stand. That one I really like to play with that one as far as for the clients as I'm drawing up and mapping out their land as far as food plots go, screening areas, stuff like that. And then last but not least, Google Earth. I love to get different types of imagery as far as seasons go, kind of see what different areas look like. 3D mode can really zoom in and get a good picture of what some glassing areas look like. Tip number two, I'll say, guys, you have to go out and apply it and go out and find some areas. And in finding these areas, what I mean is, guys, you're going to want to look for areas that deer will frequent and a reason why those bucks or those does are going to be there. You know, this time of year, you're really going to want those alfalfa and soybean fields. Soybeans are, if not the highest chosen, rate of food that they're consuming right now. It's the most palatable right now. Green up has happened, and that is what those bucks are going to be hammering as far as getting that optimum antler growth, everything going, and those does and everything is often those soybean fields eating or alfalfa. I'm seeing some browse on some corn and stuff like that as those ears start to go, and the corn's really kind of taking off. You're also going to look for good bedding areas as far as those bucks. They're going to be in some more open areas where they're not going to damage that velvet or do anything like that, because it's really, really sensitive. A lot of blood pumping to them. Everything's going on up in there, and they really just don't want to be bumping or messing too much with those does. Good tree areas, good transition points, rut funnels, stuff like that. Places where you can hang cameras. Water, we're really wet around here lately, so water's not so much of a big deal. But in areas that are dry, you might want to find a good area that kind of has all of those things combined in a good area, and that might be a good area to go and hang some cameras. And number three, guys, and probably the most important and leading into the overall topic of this video, is going to be your glass. I recommend get a good set of glass, and a set of glass that will help you also see in those twilight hours where it might be hard to depict what something is. And I cannot recommend these Sig Zulu 6 image stabilizing binoculars more to anybody. These are by far the best piece of equipment that I own. Best money I've spent out of everything. And guys, I can't say enough good things about these. This is exactly what I've used on every scouting deal, total archery challenge, anything that I'm doing. Guys, I'm using the Sig Zulu 6 HDX, the Pro binoculars. The great thing about these, guys, is they have the OmniScan digital acceleration technology, so that as you're moving around like this, it is gauging the speed that you're moving, and it is slowing it down or speeding it up at the speed that it needs for you to have the most stabilized image, guys. Another good thing is that the Pro glass here, so the HDX Pros, they let in 25% more light than the average piece of glass does. So in those low light conditions at twilight, I'm able to pick those bucks or those does up and either gauge what they are, if they have a fawn nearby. really pick out in a far distance and see what's going on because of that allowing that light in there. There's 2 AA batteries that have power. They say 40 plus hours, guys. I put these in last year when I got these, and I have not changed my batteries out at all. Battery life on them is phenomenally good. You know, it has the on-off switch right here, and I'll also put it on a demo mode here in the video. But another good thing is after 10 minutes, this shuts off, guys. So it doesn't leave on, doesn't drain your battery at all. Does a really good job there. Another good feature about these, and it's with Sig in general, is that, you know, it shows that it doesn't have any area down here to mount a tripod mount on it, but they do sell one that wraps all the way around this, goes on the tripod, slides right in. Does really well. This pair of binos, the 18x50s, has eliminated spotting scope for me in many of my hunts, and they do offer them in, I believe, the 14, 16, and 18 in these higher optic lenses. So that's a little bit about these binos, guys. I cannot recommend these enough. If you're looking in the market, I do think that these are better than your $3,500 Swaros. You know, and there's, in some cases, they're $2,000 less than that pair of binos. I'll put them hand in hand, match them against that, because as you're glassing and you're getting image stabilization on these guys, it completely takes out any movement. If you're on a tripod, that little bit of shake on there from any wind or anything, it takes it out completely. That will save you so much time in hikes when you're not quite able to pick out at a far distance what a buck may be. Now you're able to, with the stabilization, get a clear image, see exactly what that buck is, what that bull is, you know, see exactly what, if that's worth going out there and taking that long hike for, to go put on a stock. And you know, for the price point, I can't recommend any other piece of gear that I own more than these, guys. So again, you know, these are probably running, I think $1,690. You can probably find them anywhere from that $1,500 to $1,700 range, and it is so worth it. It's literally, I will never use another piece of glass again that is not stabilized. That technology has completely changed the game. Anytime that I show these to people and I hand it to them, I say, here you go, try them out. I've never gotten a bad review on them. Everybody says, holy cow, thanks, man. You just made me have to go tell my wife that I'm gonna have to go spend a whole bunch more money. Another great addition I have on these guys is the all-in quick adapt system here. This all-in system, literally put the adapter plate on it, and I have the iPhone one, slap it right on there. It's on there, and I'm able to, you know, glass and record from my phone. And a lot of the videos you see on this are recorded with this all-in system. I've had the MagView system. It does not work as well. This little single outlet right here, it literally makes it so that you put it on there and the glass is clear, the image is clear, and it picks it right up. On my MagView system, it would want to switch my cameras a bunch, and it didn't work out for me as well. This makes it easy. It covers up all the rest of your cameras, exposes one of them, slap it on there, you're good to go, you're good to glass. So guys, pick yourself up a pair, do yourself the favor. You know, the wife may get mad at you because it is a little bit extra money that may not have had budgeted, but if you can budget these and put these in your system, I highly recommend them. You won't be disappointed, guys. You know, also just want to say thanks for all the support lately. You know, we really appreciate you guys. And as always, guys, like and subscribe to this video. And, you know, we appreciate every bit of feedback that we get on these guys, and ask questions. You can ask questions on here on YouTube, or you can go on to our website, www.deerscape.us, and ask any questions on there. And guys, please give our social media links a follow. We got Deerscape Dustin on Instagram, Deerscape LLC also on Instagram, Alley Outdoors and Acres on Instagram, and then we have Deerscape LLC on Facebook, guys. Go ahead and give those a follow as well, as we do post a lot of pictures, not just videos on there, and we'll give you any updates. Last but not least too is our bow giveaway, the Hoyt Alpha X, guys. We have a bunch of people entered already. All you have to do is subscribe and like and comment, you know, and honestly, if you guys just subscribe to it, we're going to give away that bow to one of our subscribers. we really appreciate all of the people that have commented so far and liked our videos, and everybody that's entered so far. But that bow is going to be a sweet gift. It's a hard shooting, really good bow. It's going to get completely redone, new strings, new tune, everything for the new owner, which could be you, and all that'll be done by Bergie Bowsmith, guys. So that does it for this week, and stay tuned for some listener submitted questions after this. And again, guys, really appreciate it. Get out, get those cameras, get scouting, and I hope you find that buck of your dreams. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another listener submitted question portion brought to you by Bergie Bowsmith. And speaking of Bergie Bowsmith, Bergie is going to be the one that is restringing, tuning, and getting that bow giveaway completely dialed away for you, the winner of the Hoyt Alpha X bow. Those strings, if you get the unbound archery strings, they're not going to stretch. You're not going to have to wax them. You can choose any color of your choice. And we really appreciate Bergie for doing that for us. Just got off the phone with Bergie after about an hour last night, going over his Colorado mule deer hunt and going over our plans for the year. Bergie's got some big stuff coming up as well. As always, guys, go over to his channel, Bergie Bowsmith, and give him a follow. Moving on to our questions, and just want to say thank you for all of our support and submitting questions via our YouTube channel, and also going to our website www.deerscape.us and going to that contact portion and submitting questions to us. Truly appreciate it that you guys respect my opinion on such matters and want to hear what I have to say. So diving into those, our first question from Kyle Prevost from Southeast British Columbia, Canada. He asks, what advice would you give someone just starting out in hunting? How would you prioritize what gear to get if on a budget? By the most important to the least important, what gear would you not cheap out on? What gear would you be okay with going on a budget? Also, he asks, what would be a good starter bow and a good starter rifle to start out with? So a lot of questions wrapped up in one, and I will try to do my best to go over all of these as fast as possible, but with also giving as much information as possible. Someone just starting out in hunting, advice I would give them: study, and learn and try to link up with maybe somebody in your area, somebody on Facebook that's willing to go out and help you, and learn from multiple people. Don't just learn from me. Don't just learn from Bergie. Don't just learn from Hush or Born and Raised or Joel from Whitetail Fit and Midwest Whitetail or Don Higgins. Learn from everybody. Don't just select one person to learn from. I believe everybody can probably sharpen a little bit of the tool that you use, but put it all in together for your style eventually. Study YouTube, study books, study everything you can, but nothing beats going out into the field and doing it. That's going to be your most experiences by going out and failing. I took years. No one was there to teach me. I watched Hushin and the Hush crew. I watched Born and Raised. I watched a bunch of those guys to go out and watch their mistakes on YouTube, but nothing prepared me for going out and blowing stocks and getting close to animals and stuff like that. That was the best learning experience that I could have, was just by going out and failing. And that's what helped me get better. Prioritize what gear to get if on a budget, and go from most important to least important and what not to cheap out on. If you're on a budget, I definitely think there's some things that you can go budget-wise with hunting, and there's some things that I think that are better off that you don't. We'll start off with what not to do on a budget, in my opinion. And this comes from the Army as well, as I would not go budget boots, because your feet are what are on the ground, and that's what gives you power. That's what gives you the ability to walk around, to stalk, to carry out, to pack out, everything. If you can't walk and you're getting blisters and you're getting heat sores and your heel's falling off, which I have seen someone's heel fall off on a ruck march because of improper boots, you can't hunt. Your hunt's over. You're done. Your Irish setters and your Danners for what, 100 and 130 bucks, they're just not going to cut it. They're going to take an unbelievable break-in process, and guys are going to tell you, oh, I can do it, this, that, and the other. I'm going to tell you it's not worth it right now. I use the Crispy, the Mountain, the Guide GTX boots, and they're about $490, and they are every bit worth it. I took them out of a box, took them hunting directly on an elk hunt, 12 miles, no blisters, no heat sores. Your socks that you run are going to be important in those, and I also say your insoles, so get some sheep feet insoles. I highly recommend those, but start with your boots. Do not cheap out on your boots. It is absolutely not worth it. Your feet will thank me later. Your safety equipment, don't cheap out on your safety equipment. Get a Garmin InReach or any other satellite deal if you're going to be out in the backcountry. Like I said, you're from British Columbia, so you're going to be in some pretty big terrain there. You want to have a way to communicate or send for help. I've heard many stories from the most professional hunters that have been out there, got themselves in a snowstorm or situation they needed to be rescued. Your tourniquet, stuff like that, don't cheap out. Get good stuff as far as your safety gear. Pack wise, I wouldn't cheap out on your packs. I'm actually going to be upgrading my pack this year. I run a Mystery Ranch pack right now, and it's been giving me a little bit of issues as far as making my left arm go numb, and I've adjusted. I've done everything I can do, but it just doesn't quite sit right. I'm going to go to the Initial Ascent packs, and guys are really raving about those, and I've been doing a ton of research, and I think that's the brand and the packs that I'm going to go with this year. They are about, I think they're about $750 to $800, but again, all your weight is up there on your shoulders and in your back. You can't hunt if you're not feeling good. I think that's not worth cheaping out on. In your broadhead choice, as far as your arrows or your ammunition for your rifles, don't cheap out on that stuff. You want that stuff to perform when you need it most. So broadheads, I currently use the Beast broadhead Josh Bomar has developed. I've got no issues with it. I technically call it a hybrid broadhead. Most call it a mechanical. I call it a hybrid because it'll still kill even if for some reason that the cutting blades, which are the sharpest on the market, didn't open. But I just don't see a way that those things fail. They haven't failed me at all. I've got nothing but great reviews on those. Your iron wills are going to be really good and strong, and your Day 6 Evos are going to be really strong for your mechanical side. Every one of those, they're going to be on a little bit the higher side of price, but far worth it. Things you can go cheaper on, I'm going to say you can go cheaper on your camo setup. I have a lot of Sitka gear. In the last video, we're looking to go away from that a little bit. We want to find something that's not so Chinese driven, maybe something just a little bit different, and really somebody that kind of aligns with American values and American allies more. Nothing wrong with the Sitka gear. It was on the pricier side. I did stay warm. However, for the price of that versus some of the stuff that's a little bit, cheaper in some areas, I don't think that gear lasted as long as others. A lot of my friends' grandfathers and stuff, they hunted in blue jeans and flannels and got it done. I think your scent is a lot more important than what camo you're going to wear. So I'm not saying you have to go out and get the most expensive Sitka or any of those other brands that are super expensive. You may be able to save some money there, but I would not cheap out on being able to stay warm, and I would not cheap out on your rain gear. That's super important. You got to stay dry. Some other stuff that I wouldn't cheap out on, but you could go a little bit cheaper on. You don't have to get the most expensive carbon bow. You don't have to get the most expensive carbon rifles, stuff like that. You can go a little bit different of a route there and save some money by not going the most expensive. Arrows and stuff like that. I tested some of the most expensive arrows on the market, and I'm telling you right now, they did not hold up to their price at all recently, and that is another video that I did have earlier. I shoot the Easton Axis long range, and Bergie, he likes the Day 6 arrows, and I don't think you can go wrong with either one of those, and they're definitely not as expensive as like the Ultra View arrows that I tested that I can't get behind them. Your glass, so this video earlier you saw my Sig Zulu 6 HDX Pros here. Image stabilizing binos. These are not the most expensive binos on the market. However, I recommend these even over the Swaros that are going to be $3,500. When these are what, $1,700, $1,600 at the most. So they would be more considered a mid-range bino. That right there is the number one piece of equipment that I would recommend to everybody. I've never handed those binos to anybody, and they've literally said, "Oh, I hate those." Every single person is like, "Holy cow, that technology is amazing. I can't believe that even exists, and I'm going to go buy some right now. You don't have to go the most expensive on your glass, but I wouldn't go the cheapest either. You're going to want to be able to see in low light, which you can with those, as you've seen in the video earlier. You're going to want to be able to see a good distance, which you can. I've eliminated a spotting scope in some instances with those binos, and that's a good mid-range bino that I think puts $3,500 binos to shame. It does everything plus more than those more expensive binos can do. He asked what's a good starter bow and a good starter rifle to start out with. I would go for bows. It's going to be based off of your feel and what you like. I wouldn't go the cheapest, but I also, like I said, I wouldn't go the most expensive carbon-wise. Some brands you can check out. You can check out Hoyt, which is what I shoot. The Truth Archery, which is probably going to be a bow that I pick up in our arsenal here once the new one's released in October. PSE, I think that's another good bow. Berge has a PSE, and you can go with Prime. And a lot of guys shoot Matthews as well, although I will say with Matthews lately, as I've seen a lot of problems. A group behind us at Total Archery Challenge pretty much blew their bow up. It was a brand new Matthews, and I can't get behind that stuff. As far as a brand new bow blowing up and stuff like that. Another thing that I would say with the bows is go and shoot them at your local archery shop and make sure that they fit you the best. You may like one bow's draw cycle more than the next. You may not. It's all about personal preference. And that's why I say it's hard to do a bow review and saying which bow is the best, because we are all biased towards certain bows. I've gone with the intent to go buy the Matthews Lift X. However, when I got there, I was made aware that they're having problems with their limbs cracking. And then I also was like, well, I'm still going to try to fire. I did not get along with the draw cycle on a Matthews. I got along more with the Hoyt Alpha X, and that's why I chose that bow. But with those other brands, I don't think you can go wrong. Berge shoots unbelievably well with this PSE, and many guys do. Prime as well. All the bows out there are pretty good technology. I just wouldn't recommend maybe going to a place like Bass Pro Shop or whatever and just picking up one of their bows, like the Bear or any of those type of companies. I just think you get more bang for your buck at a local archery shop, and you'd be much more happy on that route. As far as good starter rifles, I would focus more on your caliber. I like more of a higher end rifle, like the Seekins Precisions, Christensen Arms, Bergara. Those are different brands that I know guys get along with, that I've shot personally, that guys, myself included, do very well with. For your big game hunting, your elk, your moose, your bear, all that stuff, I like to get something that's going to hit them and hit them hard. So I like your 300 Win Mag, your 7mm, your 28 Nosler, those type of calibers. Look into your PRCs for each one of those different calibers, and do your studying and go from there. Figure out what caliber you like, and then go off of a brand like that. They're all really, really good, but look up your longevity of barrel life. That's why I like Bergara. Bergara barrels are very, very good, but they're a little bit cheaper of a rifle versus your Seekins Precision, which also I think is a very, very good company, and your barrel is going to last really long with them, and you're going to get a lot of shots out of that rifle and be very happy. And your optic wise, you don't have to go the craziest optics, but you don't want to go the cheapest either. Get something good, reputable, and see if you want to go the mill range or MOA versus on your site there. But yeah, so that's probably the advice I'd give about what to cheap out on, what not to go so cheap on, and kind of some advice there for you, Kyle. I hope that helps you. Going on to our second question from Corman Will. This is off of YouTube. Corman Will, I definitely appreciate the support. Allie does too on the channel. We appreciate, reaching out, asking a question, and giving your insight. And he asks, how do you go about a proper arrow selection? So for us, I've shot multiple different arrows. I've tested multiple different ones, and how I went about choosing my arrow is I look for strength and stability. I look for the arrow flight with a properly tuned bow. I look for consistency, and those are the things that I look for. you know, some things that and your components are going to be very crucial too. You know, you're going to want your titanium components. You're not going to want cheap inserts or anything like that, or some crazy fletching or some gimmick that someone's selling you. You know, but as far as going on selection, you know, figure out what poundage you shoot. Then you can go on about kind of like what kind of spine you want, whether you want a 300, which is what I shoot, or, you know, 240 or 350, anywhere along there. You know, and then get it cut to your exact length, right, for your draw length. And then I go about testing it, and I shoot it. I want to make sure that they shoot tight, consistent groups. You know, I don't always recommend doing the strength test, you know, as far as shooting it into wood or hard objects, but you can if you want. You know, there's plenty of people out there that have done that already on YouTube that you can watch. I can say that the Easton Axis arrows are strong. I have tested that. I put it into my wall 3 times, into a stud, through metal, everything. And I can say that the UV 1K arrows were not very strong. That they broke after a 100-yard shot that hit soft wood, and it broke the carbon on those. And I just can't get behind that. When I shoot hardwood and into metal at 3 yards and my arrow is completely fine, you know, I can get behind something like that. I know that if I hit a shoulder or yank a bad shot, that arrow is going to be good. Even at Total Archery Challenge, the Easton Axis long range arrow, I missed a shot over the top, put it into a tree. That arrow did not break. Allie went and dug it out for me. She found it. I'm colorblind. I can't find my arrows very well sometimes. She dug it out of the tree and was like, your arrow is completely fine. I was flabbergasted. I couldn't believe it. I said, there's no way. I went there and I flexed my arrow, did everything I could do. That arrow was fine. Bergie shoots the Day 6 arrows. He's got nothing but great reviews on strength, and I know he put those to the test. So if I was to switch from Easton over to Day 6, I don't think I would see a problem with that. That's 2 arrows, and that's kind of how we go about going and choosing our arrows. You know, again, guys, I just can't thank you enough for the support. Like I said, just subscribe to the channel. You can leave a comment. You can like the video to get entered for the bow giveaway, the Hoyt Alpha X. It's a great bow. It will be, you know, restrung, retuned for you, the winner, and it's free to enter. And be on the lookout, guys. Here soon, we're going to have a T-shirt of the month club drop, where we're going to have a T-shirt every month available. And anybody that does that will have an opportunity for more entries. And we're getting out. We're scouting, guys. We're having a good time. We're trying to find some target bucks. We're planning hunts, and it's about that time, guys. Get out into the woods. Get out, have fun, and like and subscribe to this channel. We definitely appreciate all the support we've got, and God bless y'all, and we'll see you on the next one.
We appreciate you watching Deerscape. Subscribe for more hunts, more stories, and more time in the woods. Until next time, aim true.